Fear of losing someone again, I would go crazy and have many sleepless nights. Thankfully that didn't happen yet, and nobody I love has died. Thank you guys for reading. I would love to hear your perspectives and experiences. What do you think about this? My English isn't that great, so please excuse any mistakes. 2021 in February, my grandma died. She has two sons, my dad and my uncle. 2 months later, I get a very strange vision / feeling. I thought I was having psychosis because I felt / kept telling everyone that death was watching my family. I was sure in my head that death was going to take one of us, and at the same time I saw myself from outside and realized how crazy that kind of thinking was, and that the grief probably mess with my mental health. I don't ever had delusions with things of that nature, but that evening I was convinced that I had developed psychosis or something similar because the vision of a personification of death watching my dad's side of the family, waiting to choose someone, was so deeply embedded in my head that it scared the bleep out of me, and I thought I was losing my mind out of grief for my grandma. My girlfriend was on the phone with me all night, calming me down, saying that it was just a symptom of the grief that made me paranoid about my family's safety. I even still have the WhatsApp chat with my GF from that day. I showed them to my mom after the funeral and she agreed. It was very strange where I text her that I can feel death watching my family. I'm scared. And the next day I get a call that my uncle died that morning, and nobody knows how or why. It was so strange, and out of the blue he was totally healthy and relatively young. The autopsy revealed nothing, and the death generally feels a little strange to me. I was of course shocked and heartbroken and horrified that this weird vision I had came true. 2 days later we arrived in Poland and prepared everything for his funeral, and then there was the question of access to his phone and his other devices. His widow, let's call her M, wanted my dad, who works in cybersecurity, to unlock his phone, laptop, and all of his other stuff because the police refused to do so, and she didn't know any passwords. My dad, my mom, my sister, and me were all sitting in a restaurant at a table and discussed funeral preparations and other business that had to be taken care of, and then we started to speak about the ethics of unlocking my uncle's devices so his widow could have access to them. She seemed to really want that, and my dad felt conflicted because he wanted to help her as much as possible, but also didn't know if his brother would want that because of privacy. They didn't have a good marriage. And as he asked the question, should we give her access to his phone? Aloud, I kid you not, a brick fell out of the wall and onto our table with a loud bang. There were no loose bricks in the brick wall. It was a regular red brick and mortar wall. My mom looked at us and said, I think he wants to tell us that we should stay away from his phone. So we did, and guess what? Half a year later, a newly divorced cousin of my dad sets up accounts on lots of dating sites like Tinder, Badoo, Hinge, etc. And guess whose account gets recommended to her again and again on all dating websites? My uncle's. He was cheating on him all this time. That's why he didn't want her to have his phone, so his wife and daughters keep him in good memory. My parents made the choice to not tell them anything because he wouldn't want that. He made that clear. My mom also said she experienced weird things in the 2-month period of my grandma and uncle's deaths, but she doesn't want to share it so it wouldn't scare me or my sister. This was a strange and painful period of my life. In 2 months, 3 close people to me died. I experienced / and others from my family as well. Other stuff relating to those 3 deaths, but they were less death vision. He gave a sign to show what he wanted and more hearing their voice, feeling their presence, feeling comforted by her, etc. So less of a strange phenomenon and more soft personal experiences. But I still question if any of that could simply be a coincidence, because for a while I was really worried I was gonna get that vision again, or I would have the placebo version of that vision. Out of fear of losing someone again, I would go crazy and have many sleepless nights. Thankfully that didn't happen yet, and nobody I love has died. Thank you guys for reading. I would love to hear your perspectives and experiences.